Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Did it come in? Is your video working?
It's saying I have to download an app. I don't have the app.
That's okay. You could just keep it without it.
Okay.
How are you? How's your day?
I'm good. How's your day been?
Good. It was a busy day, but it was
Yeah,
a good one.
good.
Yeah. I sent everyone else the link, but I don't know if they'll get it.
I just be us chatting.
I know. It sent
I just
Madison.
connected. I just connected through the email, like the email you sent, and it's like the iPhone one tap thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping she does. I sent her, she's pretty savvy, so I'm sure she'll get in here in just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a busy day?
Yeah, it was pretty busy. But tomorrow's my half day, and then I'm off Friday because of the wedding and all the stuff. Everybody coming in town. So we have my brother and his wife are they're staying with us tomorrow night, but I don't think they're getting into like midnight. So we'll probably just see them Friday morning.
From Georgia?
So they lived in Georgia. They recently moved to Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, wow.
So they're flying in from Wyoming tomorrow night. But they lived in Georgia for a while and not just outside of Atlanta.
That's awesome.
So
To
yeah, but
Wyoming.
most of the people, yeah, to Wyoming, they actually got married out there. Her dad lives out there with my sister-in-law's stepmom,
Hmm.
and they've just always loved it. So my brother, they moved out there in September.
Oh, there's Maddie.
So yay,
Yay, it's working.
awesome.
Can you hear us, Madison? Let's see. Let me see if she can hear us. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Let me text her. Can you see me on your end?
I can hear you still.
Okay, let me see. Oh, there you are, Maddie. Can you hear me
Hi.
now?
Yeah, I got you.
Catherine, can you
Cool.
hear Madison?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. And Madison, you can hear Catherine?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. Well, I didn't hear back from Jay. Jay had to get in we're going to go ahead and get started. But Jay had to get in the car and go to Florida today for work. And so he's not even going to be there Sunday. His work can take him at random times. But Jay Cavett is the 9:30 AMP coach. Just so you guys know, he'll be in this one next time. These calls are going to be recorded, so if you guys ever have to miss one, I can go ahead and send them to you. And
Cool.
then, yeah, they're awesome. And then the other coach that we're missing is Kelsey Crum, and she is the Brown Room 11 o'clock coach.
Okay.
So those are the coaches we have so far. We also have Will and Jamie Tyner. Will is probably going to be the coach for the 11 o'clock AMP room. Jamie is going to split duty with Kelsey because they're going through the adoption process. Kelsey's going to have a baby. So it's good to have less of a load when all
Yeah.
that stuff's happening. So there's that. I'm trying to think. And Catherine is the new coach that we have. She is who's on the call with us now, and she is the coach for. Oh my gosh, Catherine, what are you the coach for? No,
Brown,
just
newborn infants,
yeah, Brown Room at 9:30. So
9:30.
I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves to one another, and we could start with Maddie. Just who you are, what you do, and how life can intersected with Crosspoint. And after she's done, Catherine, you could do the same.
Okay. I can't tell.
Cool.
Is it my voice or is it me too?
It's your
I'm
voice
just on
and
the phone.
yeah, she can't see. She couldn't had to download the app, so she can hear your voice, but I can see you and hear you.
Okay. So, Madison Lean, I am a special needs teacher for 10 years now. Well, I've been in the county 10 years. I've been teaching this is my 9th year. And started going to Cross Point just with friends, and then really got more involved in kids because of Miss Mindy, because we're friends. And then
Bribed her really good men.
I'm name dropping, right? No. And then really just having an opportunity to bring I don't know, I don't like to call it an expertise, but maybe just lots of life lessons for special needs, just to kind of help people feel more comfortable, dealing with children with special needs and knowing strategies and trying to kind of uncloud that and help people not feel like they're like the last resort, and that they can kind of have a support system for kids that come in that we don't know that have special needs for the hour that they spend with us on Sunday mornings. So I'm excited to see if I can help in that way.
And Catherine, she's in the process of building a team. She currently has one person on her team, but we're looking to really build that and see how we can make the buddy program just be awesome in Mount Juliet. So.
Okay. So and that's with are you doing that with the Buddy Foundation?
No, it's mainly just sort of a BFF system, which would be just and a buddy for each child that comes in with special needs, depending on how much need they require. As Madison's going to kind of gauge that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yes.
So are you good, Madison?
Oh yeah, no, that's funny.
Okay, cool. I am a pediatric nurse. I was in Vandy for a couple of years, and now I'm in just a pediatrician's office. And my husband and I have been going to Cross Point. It'll be a year, I guess, in December. And we were just kind of in transition between churches, and my parents go to the Franklin Cross Point. And so we just went to y'all's campus and loved it. And I started volunteering just to get, more involved with, the church and be able to continue building our community with the church. And I just love infants. And I'm around all ages of children. And then just really have a heart for infants. But we actually volunteer for, we're Young Life Leaders, and we do that in Williamson County. But we actually are with high schoolers with special needs. So it's a branch of Young Life called Capernaum. So that's another ministry that we love and are involved with. So anyway, that I can help you with that buddy system, Madison, would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
you are welcome to. Yeah, just reach out to us. But so yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. So just now that we have introductions going, I hope that for the next call we'll be able to go through again, and there will be many more on the call, but that you guys can get to know. But for the very first one, I just kind of wanted to do a brief overview of what a coaching role looks like. And you have all seen the job description for a small group coach, but what the structure of these calls are going to be over the next couple weeks will be maybe looking at a couple of the just how you could be successful in the coaching role, and have a couple go steps from each call. So, and maybe some questions. If you guys have any questions or thoughts or ideas, this would be the place to do that, since it's a recording and we can send it out to everyone. It'll kind of just give us a really good space to brainstorm together as we're starting all of this up. So no questions off limits as we're going into it. So as we dive in, I just want to start with just a vision of what a coach looks like. And I know that I've met with each of you to kind of talk about what we're looking at doing. And we noticed that with the growth that's taking place, especially in Mount Juliet, there's a need for coaches in order to just sort of love people well, love our leaders well, and ensure that everyone feels loved and known. We know that we can only effectively interact or have true relationship with 8 to 10 people. And so with that being said, having a team of 100 people right now, it allows, I think that if it was just one person, it's really hard to make everyone on the team feel loved and known, and really feel like they're flourishing in the area that they're in, and be given as much information as they can, or tips and tricks on how to do better in their ministry area. And I think when people feel successful, they're more likely to stay in that role because they feel filled up when they leave. If people constantly feel that they're failing, it's very hard to go do something and you're not getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? So it's hard to volunteer your time when you don't feel that you're being utilized or seen. So our goal is just to ensure that people are getting the information that they need and feeling loved in the midst of it all. So in order to do that, we kind of came up as a team with 6 main goals of how to be a successful coach. And I'm just going to go over all of those. Today we're going to cover 2 specifically, but I'm just going to mention each one, and we'll go in greater detail over the next couple of weeks. But for the first one, it's engage relationally, empowering others, communicating proactively, recruiting others, a can-do attitude, and pursuit of spiritual growth. All of those things are things that, as I've gotten to know each of you, something that you have qualities in all of those areas, and that stuck out to me, and that is why you've been chosen as a coach. You're showing just exemplary behavior in all of those areas, which is awesome. So since you're already doing those things, it's just something that was a natural transition to make you all coaches. So I applaud you in all that you do to start it off. But the first 2 that we're going to talk about today are going to be engaging relationally and communicating proactively. Those are 2 that I felt this week would be, if you guys can hear a screaming child, it's because I think she's playing in the living room. But those are ones that I felt were a huge need that we have starting today. And so I'm going to start with engaging relationally and what that looks like. What our goal is that a coach should be in touch with the team beyond a Sunday morning on a regular basis. So when I say in touch with them, it would really mean once a week just doing something to connect with that person. As far as one-on-one time, that would be, we're hoping that you all can invest that time once every 6 months. And that could be a coffee, a dinner, whatever that looks like, whatever you guys work out would be incredible. I recently was told by the Nashville kids director that she randomly found out that one of her coaches had been having dinners once a month with her whole serving team. And what an awesome impact. I mean, they've gotten to know each other in such a deep way just by going to dinner with each other, and they kind of do a potluck once a month, and all of them are single girls, so they're able to do that. I think your capacity changes as life changes, so you guys are going to have to feel that out for your team. You know what I mean? And what that looks like, it may look like coffee right after work. It may look like them going to Target with you. It may look like dinner. You as a family going to dinner with their family. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I know that you all will come up with a lot of creative ways to make that happen. And that, again, that one-on-one time is just once every 6 months. And you'll get into a really great rhythm with what that looks like and making plans down the road. Obviously, if time allows, more than once every 6 months is great. But just know that to alleviate some of that pressure as the team grows, that's going to be harder to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because we are always welcoming in new people to be at the 9:30 service or the 11. And so, and this is I need to probably back up. There's some inside information that I need to let you guys know first so that we can introduce that into the conversation. On Sunday, I'm going to be telling the rest of the team, but I want to make sure the coaches know first that as of December 2nd, we are going to be opening up a third service at Cross Point, Mount Juliet. So
awesome.
Yeah, so our service times are going to be 9 o'clock, 10:30, and 12 o'clock. And we'll be serving lunch after 12 o'clock for families to just sort of hang out. It's going to be a really casual, fun time, throw football on the screen, sort of an afternoon. So that'll be really fun. But with that being said, we are going to have another push for people to enter the team because we will need to recruit probably about 25 people because to open every single room, we need 25 per service. So that is what we're hoping for. And we've had a total of about 34 people join the team in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, it's been pretty incredible to see. So just know that, and I'm adding those people to your list as we speak. I was right before our call. So that kind of goes back to as you're engaging with them and meeting with them once every 6 months, if you have 6 people, that's one person a month. And you know what I mean? And that it's just, it'll add up. So, and depending on how big that grows, your team grows, it will naturally split off if there's a need for that. So if you have 16 people at 9:30 or 16 people on your team, Madison, per se, or I'm just using y'all as examples, we will split those off and have another coach take half of that team, and you will continue. We'll keep it manageable so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And another way that I think of engaging relationally could be a quick text or sending them a note in the mail. I'm really getting together baskets for you guys just with some quick tools that you need, and those will include some stationery and little things that I think can help you along the way just to help you in the area of engaging relationally. So and if you ever want to take someone to coffee or take them to dinner or whatever that looks like, let me know in advance, and I can get everything that you need in the form of a gift card so that you're able to go and do the things that you want to do. Or if you have an idea of going to bring coffee to their work or however that looks like for you, just let me know and we can make it happen. So dream away.
You'll cover our Target trips too,
yeah,
right?
that Target trips I'll make.
Yeah.
You're clear the dollar bin. And so do you guys have any questions about engaging relationally and what that looks like?
No, this is just a logistical question. If we want to mail them, you have everybody's address and things that we can.
I do, and that is part of
cool.
Information that I'm working on with all the new people coming to the team. I had all of those lists set, and so I want to make sure that I add all of those people prior to sending it to you, and it will constantly, obviously, be changing. I'll be emailing people to add to that list, just so that, because it will probably be an ever evolving. And if you serve in a specific room, I will also be including on that list the other coach from the other service time and their team's information as well. So just so that you have that, I think that would be just an excellent tool. That it's not going to hurt anything. And if you ever need to reach out to someone, that it's a great tool to have. Just for example, Jay, I know this week, since he was called out of town last minute, he went ahead and talked to the people at his 9:30 team just to make them aware. And if there ever was a situation where there wasn't going to be anyone at that time, that may be a really great resource to have, so you can reach out to the other coach and say, do you know anybody that could switch over to this time? You know what I mean? If one of your people reached out to you and asked about that. So I think it's just a great tool to have. So that will be coming your way at the very latest tomorrow. So
Cool.
I'll be working on that in the midst of watching A Million Little Things tonight.
Oh my God, I watched the first episode last night and I cried and it was great. Thanks for the recommendation.
So yeah, all of that is coming to you so that you can do all the things for them. And we could be brainstorming really fun and creative ways to be reaching out to them. So that's engaging relationally. And the next one we're going to talk about real quick is communicating proactively. The actual definition would be a coach. I'm going to read it straight off here so I don't mess anything up. But a coach makes sure to keep the CrossPoint staff informed and prepares to lead through any situation. So making sure that if anything is coming down or there's been a situation where something happened in a room on a Sunday morning, or a parent got frustrated about something and they reach out to you about that, you would just let me know that information. Just any way that you guys can soften the blow, I would do this. You know what I mean? Anything that you would assume for you. That's the gist of it. But what that kind of looks like is just making sure I'm prepared for any curveballs that could be coming my way. And I, in turn, will do the absolute same. Just by, for example, me letting you know that 3 service times will be happening. You guys will always be the first line to know that information on the kids team. There should be no surprises from me to you guys. You guys will always be my first line of communication. And you know, the goal here is that there will be a coach for every area in CrossPoint Kids for the morning services. So you all will be the ones that I communicate with, and then you all will be communicating with your team, all the information that I relate to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is sort of everything about that. Is there, and just to hit on that, I'm sorry, I'm glad I wrote notes. A big thing with curveballs, other than the 3 service times, as the vision of CrossPoint CrossPoint Kids is sort of shifting in a really great direction, but more so, there's a higher expectation for commitment level. You know, there's really, with the goal of communication or communicating information and building a relationship with these kids and families, the expectation is such a great one in that we are hoping that people will shift from serving once a month or twice a month to weekly, unless obviously things happen, we go out of town, things like all of those natural things, which are understandable. But the goal is, if you're going to be in town and at CrossPoint, to be there, you know, because those kids and families look for you, you know, and that is sort of where we're headed as a team. And so one of the first things that are coming down is that we kind of need to find out what the commitment level is for everyone that's currently on the team. Because everyone that's coming on the team will be communicated what the expectation is. And there are 3 levels, and those 3 levels are a small group leader, which will be what you guys are. You show up expectedly in families' lives. You're dependable. You know, you're there for any, you know, all the time, unless you can't be. And that, you know, that's a huge reason you guys are coaches. You know, you just show up predictably in these families' lives and in my life. And so that, it's just huge. You know, I know that it's huge for me. I know you all the best because I see you all the time, you know. And so that would be the small group leader. The second role would be a sub. So for instance, if one of our small group leaders goes out of town, we know that. So we go ahead and put a sub into that spot. That would be someone that has a fairly irregular schedule, serve twice a month, maybe even 3 times. They just serve maybe twice. I would say twice a month because that's usually a sub. But serving twice a month, they can actually be put as subs in the spots where people are going to be out that week, And then the third tier would be a float. That's your once a month. They're there. We know that they're going to be the 4th Sunday of the month, and they're just going to kind of go wherever we need somewhere to be filled. They have no consistent spot that they're in. But if we all of a sudden, someone called out last minute in green room, okay, that's where you're going. You know what I mean? Because they don't necessarily have any ties anywhere, which is, we need those too. Every single area of Crosspoint kids, you need all of those, Obviously, the goal is to have as many small group leaders as possible. But the reality of it is you're going to have all 3 tiers. So we just need to kind of know where everyone is at in that so that as we're preparing for 3 services, we can start to plug in everyone where they're going to be. And we will have, starting this Sunday, a big sheet where people can sign up for the Sundays that they're going to be serving in. So yeah. Do you guys have any questions about that? I know I just gave you a lot.
I think I'm good.
Madison, how you doing?
I'm good. How do you think it's going to go? Because I know everyone gets really committed to their service time. How do you think it's going to be? Do you think that the new time is going to be a lot of new volunteers, or are you going to be looking to try to keep people who are consistent to kind of shift to that? Because, I mean, if it's a new time, probably a lot of the families aren't going to shift that way immediately. And then, those kids that were used to having in those settings for the 9:30 or the 11. And I know the whole thing is, consistency with the group leaders. What do you think that's going to look like? Or you don't know yet?
Since I've never done it, I don't technically know, but I think from what I've talked to everyone in the whole church is making a shift. So everyone's going to have to choose. And the verbiage, Chris and I made a chart today of, it's sort of like if you were around at Easter, there was a sign up, big, huge sign up sheet, and we kind of designed it the same to where you could choose your service time. And we still believe in serve and attend. I'm not going to necessarily promote serve 2, attend 1, because I don't necessarily know for where we're headed, and what we're wanting to see as a commitment level, if that's realistic for people for the long term. So I am going to continue to promote serve and attend, and we'll just have to see what service time everyone chooses to serve in and which one they choose to attend in. I think that the 10:30 is going to probably be our busiest family service. The babies will probably stay with the 9 o'clock because babies get up real early. So people don't necessarily have anything to do but get up too, and it really helps them avoid that nap time conflict. Our lowest kids service will probably be this is all from Franklin has the same service times. So we've kind of looked at the amount of kids that they have at those times, and the 12 o'clock will probably be our smallest service. But when communication goes out, we're looking to add 25 brand new people to the team just for that service specifically. So and people may choose that shift, that service time, and see how that works for them. But I think that we'll just have to even flow with what people think, and I think it's going to be fairly natural. I think the 9:30 people may be fine to shift back, and same with the others. You know what I mean? Everyone will probably be fine to shift back a half hour. But that also means that huddle's a half hour earlier. So people really have to evaluate, just think through all of that for their families. So I can think through it, but I don't necessarily know how the cookie may crumble, but we will find out together. So, but I think it'll be good. I do.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a good thing when everyone's doing something together. I think it builds up your team more. Everyone's moving together, and everyone is making a change. Everyone is in it. So I really think that it's going to be fun. I think it's going to bring a natural momentum to not only our location, but just to kids specifically. There's no other church that offers a 12 o'clock service in Mount Juliet. So,
Cool.
yeah, it's a pretty good thing, especially with LC and all the single adults. I think it's going to be great. So,
yeah,
that's probably what we'll see at 12 o'clock. But it's going to be great. So with all of that, did I answer your question, Madison?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what my question. I know like a lot of our conversations before, and it's more specific to our special needs population with what our conversation was. But I know it's hard. I mean, we want to try to keep the kids as consistent as we can to service time. So I was thinking too far ahead, but you know how I am.
I think that we'll just have to see, and that's something you and I can maybe sidebar on, but we'll have to see which one they start attending. Once it's announced to the church as a whole, I think that will give us permission to reach out to those families and just ask, oh, we have this opportunity to partner with you. It's a brand new time, but why don't we see, we'd love to set you up with our buddy program. So we want to know which service you plan on attending, and what a great starting point for your team. You know what I mean? Just to know where you need to put people or where you physically need to be for the time being. So I think it's going to be really good. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's going to be really great. So with all of this stuff that we've gone over, I have 2 go steps for you guys. And this is for everyone, including the people that are not on this call that will be getting this in a recording. Your first go step and this falls under engaging relationally. Your goal this week is just to introduce yourself via text and tell them just to have a good week. So send each volunteer on your team a text this week at some point. Between now and Sunday, even if it's early Sunday morning, whatever that looks like for you. And the next go step would be, and I'm going to help you guys with this a little bit, but just sort of over the next week, between now and I think that I want to let you guys think through this a little bit. And if you feel comfortable, go ahead and do it. But if you're feeling like you need a little bit more time to talk through it or even me partner you through the conversation, I want you to know that you should feel comfortable to do that, and I'll help navigate this. But I want to know what the commitment level is for each volunteer on your team. So we don't necessarily have to use the verbiage of small group leader, sub, and float. But what I'd love to do is just have you all communicate the vision of where we're going and as you best understand it, and just to see if they currently serve once a month, twice a month, or as often as they can. So that's all I need to know is how often they serve. Do you think, just with you guys on the call, would it be helpful if I send maybe a quick list of like the 3 questions to ask them and maybe some verbiage as you're navigating through these conversations?
Yeah.
Okay.
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then is this appropriate to, once we establish who we are via text, to send this through a text message, or do you think it's more appropriate to call them, or I mean, obviously talking to them on Sunday would be more appropriate, but
I would say that maybe a Sunday conversation, especially if you're serving with them at that.
yeah.
What a great time to talk to them. You're in there for an hour.
Mhm.
But if not, then I probably would just make a quick phone call. And again, that's going to be between
Okay.
now and our next conversation on Wednesday.
Okay.
And just gain that. If you could get that information and just send it to me in an email, that would be awesome. Just to kind of, and I almost might make that in a table document so that you can just type it in and get the feedback right there, you know, or even in a Google, kind of like those, I'm forgetting the name right now, like essentially a survey. So you could just type in their answers and they'll populate, and you know. So that would be the goal between now and next week. I would say this week a text for each one, and then next week would be give yourself a week to communicate the big stuff with them, you know. But I think that you guys are so great at communicating and doing it in such a real way that it's not going to come up. It's sort of just making it a get to know you sort of a conversation.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, just sort of asking, you know what I mean? So just so I know what, you know, how often or what that looks like. And that will give us a really great idea. Just even that's going to give you a really great idea of how consistent they are and how often you're going to see them and how much you may need to reach out to them outside of a Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're only there once a month, then they may be someone that you may need to reach out to more just to make sure that they feel, you know, known and loved. And honestly, by you guys communicating with them, may want them to come be a part of it more, you know, just because they enjoy you and getting to know you. Because just like the kids show up for the leaders, like your friends are going to show up for you because you're in there with them, you know. So just keep that in mind as you guys are thinking about this. But tomorrow I will also type that up for you just so that you have that available to you if you want to use it. And if you find another system that works better, just have the freedom to do that as well. So, yeah. But are there any other questions that I didn't answer?
I think I'm good.
Good.
I'm good too.
Well, I'm absolutely excited to have you guys, all of you guys, even ones not represented, as coaches for Cross Point Mount Juliet, because I honestly, like, something special is really happening. And I think that it's going to be incredible to watch. And I'm personally excited to be on a team with people. And so I'll get all emotional. But you guys are my team. You know what I mean? So they are your team and you guys are my team. And so I'm excited to I feel like I know you guys so well, but even get to know you better and watch you lead and just really see what can happen, because I think it's going to be really great. I know that I've set up we're going to be, as a team, I know that I've communicated this with almost everyone, but we're going to be meeting just one-on-one once a month, just to make sure that we go over kind of where we're at and how you feel you're doing in all of those areas. And so I'll also be sending you just a little bit of a feedback form for the next time that we meet. And we're in October, and all of this kind of started in September. So I know, Catherine, your first one-on-one is going to be in November. But for everyone else, I will make sure to send reminders and get all of that out to you so that you have your feedback form to kind of get us started with conversations. But it's going to be, we're part of something special. So just get excited. Start dreaming about what you want for your team. You know, that's the biggest, that's another go step I did not write down. Start dreaming about what you want this to look like. And we can make that happen. So, yeah. But I love you guys very much, and I hope you have a lovely evening and week.
All right. We'll see you on Sunday.
All right. Love y'all.
See ya. Love you. Bye.
Bye.